What's up, everybody? It's your favorite Cowardly Lion's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the Flame Toys action figure, not model kit, of Victory Leo. This is, of course, on loan to me from Robert D. He wasn't really fond of this release, so it'll be interesting for me to have the opportunity to kind of go through it and form my own opinion. I hope that it hasn't been tainted too much, and that I can still kind of give this a fresh approach. But he has a ton of accessories, so let's get going. And we'll start with this display stand, which he can stand on just as is in lion mode with all four paws on it. It's big enough, as I'll show you in the final thoughts. Some great sculpted detail, but no paint, which is interesting because the entire figure is painted. Outside of this, it would have been nice to have some sort of plaque, I feel like. I feel like the amount of money you got to sink in to buy both of these to kind of, you know, I feel like it would have been nice to have like a little, you know, display option with the different names, maybe magnetized. That's just off the cuff. But yeah, otherwise, I mean, no real frills. Except there is one thing you can do. You can take this piece, which this section here, this is kind of typical Flames Toys stuff. This comes apart, and then you kind of adjust the angle that you want and put it in your piece. Now it also comes with this piece, but this is for the combine mode. And while we're on that topic, so is this element for the head crest. It's beautiful, golds and blacks and such. It looks beautiful. However, we're not going to talk about it a whole lot now. We'll talk about it more when we combine them in the next video. Now, that stand connects underneath in a T groove underneath his chest, but it's a real pain to show. And then I got to figure out how to put this back in there. I think like that. But yeah, like that. But yeah, it's just not very user friendly. So you get two front kind of shoulder pads. They have a peg here that can kind of slide in and out a bit, and as you do so, it'll move this piece in and out, which is kind of cool. And then you also get articulation here, and then you get full painted details to include the Autobot symbol, which is fully painted and sculpted. That pegs in to his front shoulders on the back, utilizing this peg to cover down on the shoulder. Now he also comes with two similar looking pieces of kind of rear hip flare, once again with the red, black, copper painted on, along with the gold on the other side, and these peg into the rear hips. By taking this armature, swinging it out, you can swing this out while you're here, flip this piece up, and flip this piece out. And then where you have this, you want to connect it to there. But you got to keep this in position. Maybe I got the wrong one. No, it's supposed to go like this. It's just chewing me up. There it is. Oh, and you missed it all, of course. There it is. Now for that other piece we flipped out, he comes with two kind of shoulder pads. And these are pretty vicious. You got all sorts of kind of moving pieces. I think the box says there's 122 points of articulation. That's the female for the peg. And we have this moving piece there as well. The red is beautiful. The gold is beautiful. I mean, everything aesthetically about this set, both in sculpt and paint, is stunning. And there's your peg. And you just want to line this up the best you can and collapse it. A fly just landed on it. You see that? We'll continue to stay on the rear hips. He comes with these two pieces, one for each side. Once again, beautifully painted and sculpted. And this piece does articulate up. And you have this peg here. And this one, to be fair, which correlates to those two. And you just insert it on. And hope it doesn't completely fall apart. And his comes with these two. I'm not sure if this is an exclusive or not. He usually gets the exclusive, so I'm just guessing because they were in a plastic bag. Like two like Gatling gun or minigun looking things, and we got the silvers and golds and coppers and maroons and everything painted on. And as you can see, we got pegs, and on the rear hip piece that we just mounted on, we got a hole. So this thing is just it's a regular peg pin, you know what I mean? He comes with these two kind of massive cannons. As you can see, this one's expanded, this one is not. In order to expand it, you just sort of like pull down on these pieces and they just sort of separate into two, you know, as opposed to collapsed, which is pretty cool and interesting. And we have this female cross, and on the backpack we have this male cross that comes out on these armatures, so you can see how that articulates. 1, 2, 3, 4 hinges maybe, and you just slide those into place. And of course we'll show what this all looks like when we put it together. This is just more of a tutorial right now. You get two sets of wings, one for each side, and if you have them folded up like this, they're nice and compact. Or you can open up this, and expand. As you do so, these will naturally fall into place, and you can have this kind of wings flayed out. So your world, boo. And that plugs in here so that you can have, and as you can see, it's like already at an angle, and using the leverage of the wing, it can flap up and down. It also comes with batteries for its light up gimmick, which lights up its eyes and mouth. I will not be doing that, but it comes with it. And now I think that we can pretty much talk about the cat just as it is at base, since we know how everything kind of works around it. So it's painted beautifully, and the materials feel outstanding. The head has two shades of gold, as the gold and then the more copper. The jaw articulates all the way down to there. This is what controls your light element with him. And the head itself is on a ball peg. The ball peg is connected to a hinge inside of the chest using... So they utilize these like cross members a lot on this guy. Let's see if we can't... So it's a little bit up, a little bit down, a little bit of confused lion look, and no real side to side. But you do get the jaw, silver paint on the teeth, silver paint on the kind of tusks, and then the blue, but unfortunately it looks dead without the lights turned on. For the body, we have the gold and copper tones again, as well as some silver accents along the way, and on the underbody you have this kind of look down here. Then you have the kind of arms. They're on massive ball pegs. The ball pegs are on a kind of hinge at the shoulder, so you can get up, down. You can get in, out movement on the ball peg. You can get the swivel around on the ball peg. Not the experience I would guess was awaiting for me at the price point. All right, the black is painted, the gold is painted, the silver, the copper is painted per usual. This light gray is painted. Anytime you see a color, more often than not, it is paint. So you get the elbow joint of it all here and here. That gets you all the way back and all the way forward, as well as at the base of the paw on a ball peg. That's in addition to the hinge where it connects to the gold. And then the toes move independently on their own hinges. And I don't know why, but I thought that light piece moved there, but apparently it does not. Same for the other side. This backpack here, we've talked about it a bit, but just to go through it one more time. You can collapse it, you can expand it. Alrighty, so it happened. One of the things that has been a common complaint with this guy is that he doesn't stay together. So I was kind of seeing as a experiment if, with that in mind, you know, and kind of trying to keep pressure about and not going overboard with manipulating the joints if I could keep him together. And as you saw, I could not. We didn't even get halfway through. This, though, will rotate back. It will rotate forward. There's no swivel, unfortunately, but you do get some articulation there. You also get an ab crunch there and out, so that's nice. No swivel, though. You'll start to unpeg it all. Now, for the back of the figure, we have this black, red, silver. I keep doing it. We do have some silver there, so silver and gold, and copper, the maroon color, the red color, all that's painted on. You have these tail pieces. They form the for Victory Saber, so you can fillet them out a bit. You can collapse them. It can be a little challenging to kind of keep them all together. It can be even more challenging to keep them plugged in. So just be aware of that, because that is relatively obnoxious. And for those that are on the Patreon, they saw how frustrated I ended up getting in my first impressions with them not being able to stay together. So now we've had it come apart 2 times. All right, then we have, and that foot is ready to go again, I'm telling you. I'll set it to the side. I'm done. We have the rear hip. So the swivel is going to come at the ball peg that it connects to. You do get an outward. I thought you did. Yeah, at the ball peg. I think that this hinge moves as well, but I can't really. I mean, I got it moving a little bit. It's just really tight. It's right here. It's really tight, so to speak. All the paint, the black, the gold, the copper throughout. We also get the rotation, which we've already talked about, the knee joint at both ends, and then the ankle joint at both ends, similar to the front paws. And then this, as you're moving it, it even pushes that out for a little extra kind of Flame Toys flair, as it were. Same kind of movement for the ankles, including a rocker. This has the rocker also because it's on a ball peg. And then the toes are also articulated on that base hinge as well. Obviously, it looks a little ridiculous without all the accoutrement. So let's go ahead and get that back on. I don't really have anything to compare this to size-wise. We will show it with Star Saber here on Wednesday. Final thoughts-wise, let's start with the negatives. Once again, it comes down to a user-friendly experience. That's something that's been popping up a lot recently, but it's just not a whole lot of fun. As you're adding on the accessories, which really do make it, because it does look kind of ridiculous without all of the stuff hanging off of it, but as you're adding all of it onto it, it has a tendency to fall apart on you. The back tail or have a tendency to come unplugged. The base of the rear body has a tendency to come unplugged. Add on top of that some really tight joints that, as you're going to manipulate them, are pulling against the structural frame of the figure, pulling the pieces apart literally. Doesn't help. Also, the kind of lion mane frills, they just seem very fragile and delicate, and I hate the idea of brushing them continuously up against that shoulder, just clearance wise. And then the eyes look dead if you don't have the lights installed, so that's kind of unfortunate as well. And also, it's just hard to kind of like mess with it and get a good looking pose, even for setup, because as you go to pose it, it starts falling apart, which is just, it's really unfortunate. Positives wise, it comes down to the kind of stuff that we kind of expect from Flames Toys, meaning general build independently, not combined in regard to the pieces actually coming together, but how those independent pieces are constructed feels great. The paint is beautiful and the sculpt is beautiful, but that's all they get here. It is articulated, but it works against itself, so I can't give it a point there. I am telling everybody to hold off for right now. That's my recommendation. I'm going to combine it and see if that is worthwhile, and we'll go from there. I am unenthused with this. It is a bit of a nightmare, especially at its price point. Extremely disappointing for how it kind of interacts with its user. So sit tight. I'll be back Wednesday. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.